Dana, and this is the first episode of Starhound Emporium's vlog. I would like to apologize for bailing on Vlogmas 2018, but I came down with a chest cold that had put me out of commission for quite some time. I'm happy to announce that I'm feeling much better and will be able to start this vlog. Still not quite there yet, but almost. I am a Michigander who lives in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, obviously. I live in what is known as the Keweenaw, and we get some pretty severe winters here. Right now we're in quite the cold snap. It's single digits and almost in the negatives most days here. Like most of the country right now, we're going through a cold snap, but I love it here. It's wonderful and fantastic. The summers are amazing, and it's home. I going to delete that. To start today off, I'm going to talk about my works in progress. One of my childhood friends, his little sister, it's a mouthful, is going to have a baby in April, a little baby girl, and so I needed to make that baby something because she's one of my best friend's little sisters, and I need to, because this baby is special. I'm sure you will all understand. And so I decided to start knitting a French macaroon little sweater, and this is the first half of it. I haven't really been working on it too much. I just started a few days ago. It's a garter stitch little pullover for sizes newborn to 4 years, and I'm not sure exactly who the designer is. Let me just look here on the pattern. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. Yeah, I did not print the page off that tells me who the designer is, but it's a really easy pattern thus far. It's going to be absolutely adorable. This is what it looks like finished. I'm not going to do the color blocking like that. I'm using Lion Brand Mandala Baby yarn in Dream World colorway. And I have 2 of these, so I'm going to use the other ball and cast on the other side of this so that hopefully they'll be matching. And then I am going to also make some teeny tiny mittens out of this and a little hat. And I'm thinking that I'll probably have enough to also do a pair of booties for this baby girl. I have until April, so I do have some time to get all these cute little baby items finished, and thankfully baby items are a quick knit. The next up item that is a work in progress that I haven't really picked up in a little while, mostly because it frustrated me when I got this far, is the Speedy Selbu Mittens by Skandir. I love my Selbu mittens by Skandir that I knit last year, and I wanted to do the Speedy Selbu mittens for myself, but unfortunately it's a little small for me, which just means that my gauge is a little off, and instead of ripping this out and starting over, I'm going to finish it and make the other one and give them to my mom. She has slightly smaller hands than me, and it'll be perfect. So I'm knitting these out of Knit Picks Wool of the Andes. in the colorways red and cream, I think. I'm pretty sure it's cream. No, it's cloud, but it's a creamy color. You can see that it's not quite white. So I love Skandir's instructions. She's a great designer, and I bought the Selbu Mitten collection that just came out, the second Selbu collection, and I've got some yarn to make more of those mittens. My mom is getting another pair from that collection, the Marit mittens, which I have started those, but I haven't picked them up in quite some time. So they're now a languishing whip. I'm knitting these on US size 8 or 5 millimeters. So gives you that. It's the suggested needle size, sort of. I was supposed to do a gauge swatch, but I am terrible at doing gauge swatches, so I didn't do one, and now my mom's getting mittens, so it's not a terrible thing. The next work in project, and my last work in project, is a sock head hat. Now these are super popular, and they've been all over for quite a few years. Everyone has made one. I've made one, and I love it so much that I wanted to make another one. And I bought this particular yarn with this hat in mind. It is Hedgehog Fibers sock in the colorway Boombox. And I love it. And it's knitting up super fast. It's one of those amazingly mindless knits that you can do while listening to an audiobook or watching TV or whatever, and it's wonderful and beautiful and so stretchy. This yarn is so squishy. So yeah, this is for me. It's really nice. I'm using size 1.5 or 2.5 millimeter, how do you say it? Chiagu, red lace needles. These are my absolutely favorite needles ever. I knit my socks on these. I have multiple pairs of these. I knit my socks toe up 2 at a time. And so the flexible, very flexible cable, see that? Is wonderful for magic looping. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm doing magic loop. I'm almost ready to do the decreases. I've got about 2 more inches before I get there, and I will have myself a new hat. Here's my cute little stitch marker. It will focus. It's a mermaid. Well, there we go. Sort of focused on it. Can't get too close. Well, it's a mermaid, and I made it myself, actually. Stitch markers and charms like that are pretty darn easy to make. It's just a little charm that I picked up from a craft store and put on a lobster clasp. But what's really awesome is that I made a bag to match it. Now, I'm not a huge mermaid fan, but when I saw this fabric, I fell in love with it. Both of these fabrics. I'm not gonna lie, I bought them at Walmart. And went back and bought the rest of them. I'm not entirely sure what exactly all I'm going to do with these. I do want to make another project bag, probably, and a bag called the popcorn bag, which has become very, very popular lately in the sewing community. Hold on. Sorry. I do have that pattern right here. It is for sale. Oh, it's the popcorn pouch. It's a for sale pattern by hilltopcustomdesigns.com. Excuse me. But that is what it looks like. And I've made one of them. And it is so cool to make. And it comes with many different sizes. And I just love this teeny tiny one. Be perfect for just like clipping onto your bag and keeping chapstick in it for starters, or anything else. I do want to make quite a few of these because they're just so charming and cute. And I'd like to make one out of the mermaid and scale fabric. So that's my plans for that. We've just kind of like segued into my sewing finished objects with that bag. So I will just continue on with that real fast. I have been putting up some Instagram stories following my progress on the pattern from Simplicity 8294. It's this pattern. I followed this one, but didn't put the sleeves on. It has these cute little cap sleeves. I didn't put the sleeves on because I don't necessarily always want sleeves on my dresses, and I'll pop in some footage of me subduedly twirling around in that and showing you all the cute little details. It was a really easy pattern to make. Simplicity is probably my favorite pattern designer that mass produces patterns. I have quite a few of their patterns, and that was the most complicated thing I've sewn like ever. I am still sort of a novice when it comes to sewing, and I'm just working on getting better at it, and I'd love to make some more of my own clothing, and just kind of, you know, have my own homemade wardrobe. But that was a really nice and easy pattern to make, and if you like it, I really suggest doing it. I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. It's quite comfortable to wear, and just, I wish I had put pockets in it. That's the thing that I wish I had done, is just added a pocket or two. But there's a zipper on the left side, so maybe just one pocket would have been good. And who knows, I might tear one of the seams and add a pocket, because it's the perfect dress to add a pocket to. We'll see if I do that. Like I said, still sort of a novice with sewing, but I feel confident enough that if I wear that a few times and decide that I definitely need a pocket, I could add one. And my last sewing project is this. And this is the simplest thing ever. It's just a lap throw out of some of that polar fleece, and it's just these feathers. Pretty simple, cute design, and all you do is take some pom-pom ribbon and sew it on. You can see I've got a thread there. Excuse me. And I just chose two different pom-pom colors and went with that. Opposite sides have those colors, so pink and this kind of teal-ish pastel-y color. just really nice to have a fleece throw. Put it on your legs when you're sitting on the couch, knitting or reading or whatever. My boyfriend hates the tiny blankets, but I love them, so he has to deal with it. My next finished object is this cardigan. It is the Super Bulky Grandpa, and I'm a great podcaster and didn't gather all of that information about who designed it and everything, but this is available on Ravelry. It is a paid pattern, but it is well worth it. It's written quite well. I made this cardigan in 4 days of just like sitting and knitting and recuperating from being sick. It's really nice. I used Lion Brand Thick and Quick in the colorway Carousel. Yes, Carousel. I bought a few extras, so I have some of this extra. Who knows what I'm going to do with it? It sits right there. But this is a super cozy cardigan. I love it. It's been chilly here, so it's perfect to pull on. It does have buttons, and it's basically a seamless, it is seamless. This is a seamless cardigan. It starts at the top with raglan increases, and then I knit the sleeves first because it's such a bulky project that I didn't want to like be flipping around the body and everything, so I knit the sleeves. You can see that the sleeves are definitely more striped than the body pieces, but the body pieces have some funky pooling, believe it or not. One side is more pink and one side is more blue. I don't mind at all because I love it. The only thing that I did differently is I did not even add the hip shaping. I just wanted a mindless knit, just increase for the raglan and be done shaping, and it worked out perfectly. And I also did not include the pocket, which I think I did out of sheer laziness. I just didn't want to add the pocket. So I love this cardigan. It keeps me nice and warm and cozy. I suggest knitting it. It is so fast and easy. My next finished object is this Fair Isle hat out of, let me get my notes, the Karen Patone kits that they have now. Karen and Patone teamed up and they have these cute little mini skein kits. I bought this at Michael's. I'm not sure where else they are. This is the colorway Moody Pumpkin, and each of the skeins did one of these colors, so I used all of the yarn for this hat. It's a bulky weight yarn and I really like it. It's super squishy and cozy. It's acrylic, so it's great for those people who don't like wool. It was a really easy pattern. I did this in just a few hours. It's a little bit of a slouchy hat, which is still all the rage. It keeps me warm. I found myself in a little bit of a hat shortage this winter. Due to my own fault, I washed one of my favorite hats and now it fits my son. So I needed another hat. And so this yarn had been just hanging out in my stash for a while and I figured it was time to use it. And so I just used the Yarn Inspirations pattern that is specifically designed for this yarn, and it was super easy Sat down, did it in just like 2 hours, like I said. Great pattern. The next thing I have, the last thing that I have for my finished objects is this scarf. It's a garter stitch scarf, believe it or not. And it is knit with Lion Brand's Go for Faux yarn. It's new. It's so dreamy and soft. I absolutely loved working with this yarn, and I do not like working with novelty yarns. I picked this yarn up originally. I've got the two gray colors. I forget what their colorway names are. And I was going to make pom-poms, faux fur pom-poms, that's what I was thinking of, for hats and stuff out of those, and I'm still going to. But for some reason, this beautiful dusty pink colorway was just called to me. It was like, you need me. So I picked up 2 skeins. This is a 2 skein scarf, and just cast on 15 stitches, I do believe, with really big needles. I'm pretty sure they were US size 17 needles, and just knit away until I used up both skeins. And I absolutely love this scarf. It is so nice. It traps that warm air that you breathe out right next to your face, and keeps you really warm and cozy. I did pick up one more skein because I'm thinking that I want to make a matching hat. This is a super bulky yarn, and you only get 65 yards of per skein, but one ball should make me just a simple beanie to go with my super simple scarf. But you know, when you use a yarn like this, you don't need anything super fancy. You'd lose all stitch definition anyway if you did any purling or cabling or anything. So plain garter stitch or just knitting in the round stockinette stitch would and is perfect for this yarn. So yeah, that's my last finished object. Give me a moment. That's almost everything I have to say today. I did decide this year to decide on, like, I'm sure most of you have heard of like the Make 9, where you like make 9 things. Well, yeah, you make 9 things throughout the whole year, and like that's your goal of like making. I'm sure you've heard of it. If not, then you could find it pretty easily. The internet could be very helpful in finding what people are doing for their Make 9s. And I'm not going to sit here and read off my Make 9. I have cast on 2 of the projects from my Make 9 list, and that is my sockhead hat and the Speedy Selbu Mittens hat. I did try to cast on Board Like a Girl, which is a face mask. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen that. I did not make it very far into that pattern before I realized that I had twisted the cast on, and I frogged it and cast it on again and did the exact same thing. And when that happens, I need a break from that project. So I just ripped it out, and it's sitting in my pile, and I will get to it this year because I have had that yarn and been wanting to make a Board Like a Girl face mask for quite a long time. So there's that. I do have a full Make 9 list on my blog. It is Starhound Emporium at WordPress. It's a WordPress blog. I will add that link into the description below, and you can go check out my little blog. I haven't updated that in a little while just because of life, being a parent, being sick, and all this other good stuff. But I will definitely be hopping on there and adding all my finished objects and everything. There's definitely a post about the Go for Faux scarf on there, and there's all the details you need to know if you want to make one just like it. So yeah, there's that. I mentioned my second Instagram account called the Copper Reader. I also have a blog for that, and I decided to give myself a challenge to read the 77 books that I have not read that are on the Great American Read List. PBS, I guess, polled all of America, the reading community of America at least, and came up with the top 100 books, not by just American authors. There's authors from all over the world on there, but they're the top 100 books of all time, I suppose, because there's things like Heart of Darkness on there, and books that are pretty old, like Wuthering Heights and a few others on there that are quite old. And then you have the Hunger Games series and Harry Potter on there. So I've decided to just read the 77 that I haven't read thus far. I'm starting out with the ones that I already own, which is pretty convenient for me. I have not set a time limit on this, so I'm not trying to read the 77 this year of 2019. I just want to read them all. So I don't have goals for how many books I plan to read this year. I just want to read as many as I can, without pressuring myself to get them done as fast as I can. The first books that I've chosen to read, and some of them on the list are a full series, so the Lord of the Rings series. I don't think I'm going to read all of the Lord of the Rings novels this year, mostly because I've gotten into the Fellowship of the Ring, and I grew up when the movies came out, and I was like, oh man, this is so amazing and awesome. And I've always wanted to read Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings series, and so I have them on Audible, and I've been listening to this one, and I'm really happy that I'm listening to it and not reading it. The narrator does a really good job doing all the singing, and there's a lot of it. I'm really happy I'm listening to it. It's very different than I thought it was going to be. I've read The Hobbit, and I really liked The Hobbit. So this is different. Lots more songs, that's for sure. So yeah, I'm just doing the first in the series right now, and we'll see how I feel about continuing on with the series right away, or if I want to wait a little bit and just pick up another book. I do have The Hobbit, the Fellowship of the Ring and the Two Towers on my Audible. And I will eventually get The Return of the King on Audible. I like audiobooks. They're so nice. I have been listening to the Fiery Cross by Diana Gabaldon on Audible, and I've been listening to that while I've done my sewing. I'm one of those people who apparently has to read 4 books at a time. I did just graduate from college with an English degree, so it doesn't surprise me that I have this like need to read a lot of books at once, because I've had to read a lot of books at once. So I am reading The Fellowship of the Ring, The Fiery Cross. Well, I'm listening to those 2. And I have started Their Eyes Are Watching God by Zora Neale. I'm going to say Neale. Hurston. I've started this. The language barrier is interesting simply because I'm dyslexic and it takes me quite a while to like decipher dialects, and the characters in this are deep south characters. It's I do believe it is a novel about slavery. I haven't quite gotten to that part where like they say that they're slaves, but they are African American people, which today's Martin Luther King Day. So I should probably sit down and read this today. Just to celebrate the amazingness of freedom for Black people and equal rights. Even though in today's society we still suck at giving them equal rights. I'm not going to go on that rant right now. So yeah, there's how to segue away from that topic. I have had many recommendations for this novel. My old English professor teaches this novel in her African American lit class, and so I did not take that class, unfortunately, but I got the reading list for it, so I have quite a few of those books, and I'm really excited to dive into them because they are great authors. And they just have so much to say, and it's great and amazing, and I love recommendations from that teacher. She really knows her lit quite well. And the final book that I'm reading is by Holly Black, who is a young adult author, and she just came out with The Wicked King. It's the second book in her Fair Folk series. I read The Cursed Prince, and before I even finished that book, I ordered The Wicked King for my Kindle and started that right away. And so I'm reading that, and I will probably be finished with that one before any of the others, because that's my like fun read. Which they're all really fun to read, but like that's the one that I want to like read right away. So that's what I'm currently reading right now, and I will talk about apparently what I'm reading on this vlog and also on my blog, The Copper Reader, and I'll link to that one too, if you guys are interested in seeing what else I'm doing, like with books and writing and stuff. I mentioned that I graduated from college with an English degree. My goal is eventually to become a librarian, but I like to write too, so maybe someday I will be a published author. That seems to be all I have for today. Thank you for joining me and hopefully I will have another video up. Probably gonna try for monthly videos just because I am not a speedy crafter, but we'll see. I might choose like a bi-monthly schedule. Just subscribe, like and subscribe, and you will get notifications when I upload my next video. And I wish you a wonderful and happy day. Bye.